This video will demonstrate how to do capital budgeting. This is an example adapted from the Bracker textbook, but it says that Jim's Printing is considering the purchase of a new printing press. The press will cost $2,000 to produce and will generate cash flows of $900 per year for 3 years. What is the payback period for the press? If Jim assigns a critical acceptance of 2 years, should they accept the project? So first, we will look at the payback period. So for this problem, I've already set up the different periods as well as the cash flows. So beginning in period 1, we received $900 from our investment. We had paid $2,000. We received the $900. So we still require $1,100 to get our money back. So I will type the number 1 here to represent that year. In cell C8, looking at payback, this will be, we have $1,100 now left to receive our payback, plus $900. So now we have $200 left to get paid back. And then finally, I could see here that I only have $200 left to get paid back, but I'm going to receive $900 in this year. So to do this one, I'll put a minus to make this a positive now. That's my amount left to get back the payback. That's how much I receive. So I will get paid back roughly 0.22 part of the year. So my payback period is 2.22. This process will work for any sort of cash flow. One could have also just done, since all the cash flows are the same after the first one, could have just done 2,000 divided by 900, but that only works if the cash flows are the same. You would also get 2.22. If the critical acceptance level is 2 years, we would reject the project. It may or may not actually be a good idea. Turning now to the internal rate of return, we use the IRR function in Excel to calculate this. Highlight all cash flows. We get 16.65%. This is greater than a required 10% per se, so we would accept the project. Turning to net present value, first, we have to do the initial cash outflow on the outside. So equal B6 first, plus then our NPV function. The rate will be 10% from B12. And then we highlight the other cash flows, not including the period 0 cash flow. And then one other note here. Let's swap our sign. It should be that way around. We always accept positive NPV projects. So that's payback period, IRR, and NPV. Now going into some problems in more details. So first, let's look at the crossover problem with IRR. So here's an example project. Suppose I calculate this IRR. I highlight all the values. And then suppose I guess negative 99%. That would give me an IRR of 4.88%. And then let's suppose I do the analysis again. But this time I guess 99%. You see here in this case, because the cash flows change signs 1, 2 times, we see in this example, we get 2 IRRs. Which one should you choose? Another problem with IRR. I calculate the IRR of these 2 values. We see that we would choose project A because it has the higher IRR than project B. But would you really do this? We also look at a reinvestment rate problem and see 29.02%. Is it possible to reinvest these cash flows year over year at that same rate? Okay. Now, let's look at a couple of these. Let's see. Let's skip the right NPV profile. Let's do this one. So let's suppose we've got two mutually exclusive projects. We can only pick one or the other. Let's calculate IRR like we've been doing. And now let's calculate the NPV of each. So this will be equal this one plus NPV of, put in the rate, which will be over here. And then these values. Let's go back in and anchor these numbers because we're just changing the rate. You can anchor using function F4 or just F4. So there's A. If I copy this formula over into B, I will need to edit it some because for this one, the rate should still be in A54. And then now we're using the C column. So now I can drag that down. So we can see this has happened across. We would pick the dark black solid line first for that NPV, and then we have a crossover, and then we would pick the dashed blue line because we always want the highest NPVs. So in other words, we would choose these, followed by these, depending on the interest rates. If I want to know the rate of intersection, we can take the incremental cash flows and then take the IRR of that. I can drag that across. We could say that is 10.5%. One last thing to complete the spreadsheet. If I wanted the NPV profile of what we did above, I can change the rates of return very similar to what I had done earlier. I will copy this formula. Let's just actually copy it directly. And in here, I will paste it. I will anchor the cash flows. And then let the rate change. So you can see that generates it just for one project. So that is a demonstration of how we can do capital budgeting, a walkthrough in Excel. Thank you for watching.